who we sneak dissing? Are we dissing anybody?
Nah, we just
we can throw some shots.
Now
what are you talking about?
We actually, I mean, it is kind of what we do. We're more of a sneaker podcast. We talk about sneakers, sports, music every week. One of the co-hosts here, George, he's also here right now.
What's up, George?
What up, man?
We have a third co-host, but he wasn't able to make it today. So,
man, fuck him.
But we just talk sneakers, we talk sports, we talk about everything. And I had when I emailed you, I listen to Brilliant Idiots every single week. And I listen to your podcast. I listen to Combat Jack. I listen to everybody. And when you guys started talking sneakers, I was like, yo, I got to get Premium Pete on here, man. He's somebody who's been involved in the sneaker community forever. What episode is this?
73.
Episode 73. It was George, Ryan, Greg in the building like always. We got a super duper special guest in the building. Actually, not in the building, but over.
We might need Pete to address Ryan again. The missing link today.
But we got the homie Premium Pete with us today.
So listen, thanks for having me, man. Shouts to the Sneak Diss podcast. Now your third co-host, man, you're too fucking busy, man. Too busy to fucking hang out, man. But it's all right. I'm gonna be easy, man. But what's his name again?
His name's Ryan.
Man, shouts to Ryan, man. He better be getting pussy. You know what I mean?
That actually.
Or else I'm gonna sneak diss him, pretty soon. But yeah, thanks for having me. I know this whole game is about follow up. It's not about Sneak Diss podcast. It's not about just sneakers. It's anything.
Oh,
and what I mean by that, it's about following up. And I like the way you reached out to me. And then I think that, like I said, I think this week works for me. Like, hey, we're a little busy this week. Let us know next week. And then on the bottom, you wrote something that stuck out to me where you wrote, if you don't get back to me, I'll follow up. You know what I mean? Like something like that. And I felt like that was really, ahead of your time in the sense of, a lot of these kids don't get how important the follow-up is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we get that because, a lot of times people busy and we know, like I said, I've been listening to you, I can't forever. And, everybody out here married, busy, fathers, kids, businesses, things going on. So sometimes, people forget to get back to you. So I have absolutely no problem double checking, doubling back, making sure that it's a possibility. I don't ever want to miss out on an opportunity to talk to somebody who's been in the sneaker culture and hip hop forever. You're cemented in it. Like I said, we appreciate you just taking time out of your day as a father and everything that you deal with on a regular basis to sit with us for a second. So
sure, most definitely.
So a lot of people, if you're not familiar with Premium Pete, like I said, he's a podcast host of his own show, the Premium Pete Show, which has been going on for probably a little bit over a year now. Which is kind of funny because I always followed you on Combat Jack, and then once you decided to part ways there, I was surprised you actually started your own podcast.
Yeah, I thank the internets for that. When you do something with somebody and you believe in something so much, and then things just don't work out, in the sense of right. You just kind of grow different from each other. You may have some different wants and needs and in any business, in any partnership. And, when we started the Combat Jack Show many years ago, I think we got big real quick as far as being, just really the voices of podcasts and hip hop. You know what I mean? I think the originators of podcast hip hop is Juan Epstein. I always give shouts to definitely Rosenberg and Cypher Sounds. But when the Combat Jack Show came up next, I think we did it in a more organic and, just a different type of dynamic. And, it goes to show how many people we sat down with. We sat down with so many people and had some amazing, content and amazing guests. But to be honest with you, when me and Combat parted ways, I wasn't going to do my own podcast because, to be honest with you, I was doing a podcast for 5-6 years already, every week. And I know people, whoever's doing podcasts that does it once a week or whoever listens to podcasts may think once a week is simple, but it's a lot of work.
Oh,
it's a lot of work. You got to, you got to prepare for it. You got to hopefully have a guest if you're a guest-based show, and you want to you don't want to just put out any regular shit. So, I had to commit myself to that. And to be honest with you, I always say I thank the internets because not one person hit me up, not two people hit me up. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and into thousands of people hit me up and was like, "Yo, you need to do your own, show. We need to hear you back. We need to hear your perspective. We need to hear your thoughts on certain things and your heartfelt." And I think in this day of social media, a lot of sometimes, you get like somebody like one or two people are right, like, "I don't like that podcast," and then somebody be like, "Oh shit, people don't like it." Like, nah, you got to be an overall thinker of who you're hearing it from, and it was nonstop. You know what I mean?
Right.
I did miss doing it. So I said, let me bring it back and give my perspective. I know there's some people who thought like, "Hey, Pete, he always talks about jail, or he doesn't say much here." Or,
right.
What could I felt like they thought like, what could they do? And I'm so glad I did it, and I proved to myself, not only just the world, that like, I could do some compelling shit, and you know what I mean, that I could have and sit down with people and create some amazing content. And I think that, that's what I feel that I've been able to do over the past year, with my own show.
Yeah, no, when we started our podcast, there was only like one or maybe two other sneaker podcasts out there. And, like you said, it's not easy, especially when your main topic is sneakers. It's not easy to be at week 73 and the main discussion is sneakers. And, we've, like you said, we get tons of people who love to listen to us, and we get a lot of people who, quite honestly kind of hate us. But it's one of those things that we've kind of lived with because we're providing content to somebody, whether they love it or hate it. And it's the fact that they take the time to even listen to it is what we appreciate. Like you said, it's not easy, but, like I said, I told you earlier, I listened to you on The Brilliant Idiots, and I heard you and Andrew going back and forth about sneakers for a little bit. And I said, man, I really haven't heard Premium Pete in a minute, unless it's something I've missed, really talk about sneakers and things, how it's changed and where the culture's at right now in the community. So, we just kind of wanted to touch on that with you, get your opinions on things. And like I said, we're big fans of yours. So we just glad that you're here with us.
No, most definitely. Look, that conversation was definitely something I think won't happen every maybe 50 episodes on Brilliant Idiots as far as sneakers. They just don't talk about stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Andrew might be a little bit more into it than Charlemagne.
Yeah. I mean, Charlemagne loves kicks. Trust me. But I don't think that, the way we spoke about, it's funny too. Like I had my friend, shouts to Ray P. He's over at Nice Kicks. He's one of the contact directors over at nicekicks.com. And, he was with me. And when he left, he was like, man, that costume segment was amazing. And, it's funny how sometimes you just have conversation with people, and we do live in a world now where it's a costume more than ever. Right. People kind of know what they could wear so they could look, so they could appear to be something they're not. That's the only thing that is tough in this world and day and age, is that people try to buy themselves into this game. Pair of sneakers. Right. What would they be? Yeezys. Like what I brought up. Say Charlemagne, and I brought this up, and just for your listeners, say Charlemagne, and I told this to Charlemagne, say he, goes on a golf outing with a corporate company for the radio station, right? Could be some, some out of touch people, maybe older people, maybe some older white people, or it could be any color. It could be Spanish, could be whatever, some Chinese.
Right.
It's funny how now, it's kind of like if they got a pair of Yeezys, or if they got a pair of dope shoes, or if they have like a Supreme thing, it's like if people see them, they automatically think they're of the culture. You know what I mean? Like keep in mind, like we walk around and we see a kid with a Supreme shirt, and not saying that we're Supreme lovers. Like I don't really rock Supreme much. I got a few pieces, but I'm not a Supreme guy.
Right.
But automatically we think like, oh, that's one of us. You know what I mean? Like when we see somebody wearing a pair of Yeezys, you know what I mean? We're like, oh, okay. He's a sneakerhead. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though I'm not a fan of the word sneakerhead, I like to call them sneaker lovers because back in the day people used to use crackhead, so I feel like you use sneakerhead. It's kind of like I don't know. I feel like a lot of people who are bougie that ask you about shit are like, oh, what are you, like one of those sneakerheads? Ooh, like, and it's like
that goes for everything.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but you're right. But it's like. I feel like I don't know, like
No, we 100%.
Yeah,
we 100% agree with you.
I'm a sneaker lover.
Now we agree with you. Like it's one of those terms that like it just kind of got implemented and it's just cemented, and you try to use other words for it. And we're actually, we're always considered like the old men of the sneaker community. We're well in our 30s, so. We have a constant battle with the younger generation on sneakers and Yeezy and Supreme and things like that. And it's not to knock it. It's just that, actually, we're jumping ahead. We actually wanted to ask you some questions, and we'll get into all that, actually.
Good.
So just real quick, I had read the piece that Huffington Post had wrote about you, which is actually really dope. Like, that's something that, we inspire to have, somebody write about you. That's super dope. But it talked about your affinity for sneakers and, like, how you had to work for them and a paper route and things like that. How did that appreciation for sneakers get started with you?
Growing up in Brooklyn, sneakers were like a piece of like memorabilia. You know what I mean? Like, growing up loving Jordan, seeing Jordan, this guy was amazing. But more so than that, just the sneakers, the way they look, Jordan 3s, like Jordan 4s. Like I always say, when the Jordan 3 came around, I'll never forget, man. I was in science class in maybe like it was junior high school, I think. Yeah, it was junior high school.
Right.
And man, this fucking Chinese kid came in with a pair of 3s on, man. And that Jumpman on the tongue, that visible air unit bubble, fucking elephant print, cement print, whatever the fuck you decide you want to call it.
Right.
That shit was amazing. I was like, what the fuck are those? and like, it's crazy too, because I remember that Chinese kid, like, I don't know, like, I feel like he got popular just from wearing dope sneakers. I mean, he had the military 4s, he had the fire red 3s,
right?
Like he had the 5s. I'll never forget the fire red 5s when they came out later on. This kid was, and we just look at them like they were a piece of like just a memorabilia, like iconic piece of your outfit, man. Keep in mind, back in the day, man, we used to wear like the same jeans like 2-3 days in a row, man. But we just had a different shirt and a pair of sneakers, man. We were good.
We're good.
And but like just seeing that, and I was like, wow, like I guess I just wanted to stay fresh, man. I think people always looked at your feet, and we grew up in a time where it was like kind of like in Brooklyn and New York. It was like a fashion show, Polo, Carl Kanai, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cross colors at that time.
Mecca,
like
all kind of
Mecca,
stuff.
Southpaw,
Autumn classic streetwear brands.
It's cross colors, there was so many, man, and it's like, even starter jackets. Like I have friends that died over starter jackets. Like when I think about that shit, it's crazy.
I have friends too. Me and George are both from California, and I, for 100% fact, have those all black starter jackets. There were always a certain few that like you always saw, but there were rare ones out there. And I had friends who were shot and killed for starter jackets. That's a 100% fact. And like
49ers were big.
Raiders
Bulls were big.
Like
yeah,
like,
what'd you say?
No, I was saying like I remember those jackets, like Cats. They were like the quintessential, like what the society viewed as like the drug dealer outfit. Like you had your big starter jacket. None of us wore an extra large, but we had an extra large.
There wasn't no need to wear a starter jacket in LA, but people would still do it just because. The Hornets, the Bulls, you name it, like teams that wasn't even really from there.
Yeah, that's funny. I never knew that. Like, as far as like, you're right. There's no need to wear a jacket in that way. I never thought of it like that. And in New York, we wore it because obviously being stylish, but also it was cold too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
people started wearing down jackets in LA when I'm 38, or just about to be 38. So when I was in high school, the down feather jacket thing on the East Coast had been going on for a long time, and it came people wearing them in L.A. in the summertime. Like, man, what are you guys doing? And Tim's and all that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah, did you fuck with Triple Fat Goose?
That's strictly East Coast.
Yeah, what about the 8-ball jacket?
Everybody had 8-ball. Everybody had 8-ball. Everybody had a Pele, Averex. Of course. Like, if you found a nice little Averex joint or a Pele at, like, you might even finesse one out of a Burlington Coat Factory for like a good 300 or something. Like, yo, you was for real. Like,
I'm thinking the era before that, the one that really caught on. Like, if you had a Helly Hansen jacket.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then people kind of looked at it different because everybody had Polo and Tommy Hilfiger and Nautica when that wave jumped off. But if you really had the Helly Hansen, people were like, "Ooh, okay."
Helly Hansen.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of pieces to of Tommy, of definitely Nautica, definitely obviously Polo, and different rugby, stuff that was definitely like just really like I need that. But I'll tell you one thing, man. That is what made fashion, streetwear, sneakers so special, so addictive at that time. The only thing too is I think that like when you get older, like it's weird too because it's like you never want to be that old guy in the room. And I think sneakers keep you young. You know what I mean? Like even me as an older person, I got a daughter who's 17. I go to her open school night. Maybe wearing bread ones. Right. They're like, "Oh, you the brother?" That's my daughter. And then meanwhile, like my daughter, like, "Hey, my friend Steve, who's in my class, just text me that your father has awesome shoes on or whatever." It's like I want to give you an example. There's a gas station out here in Jersey. I grew up in Brooklyn all my life. I live in Jersey now. I was able to get a home with my lady. Right. And the backyard, Jersey, you're able to do that if you could get out here. There's a gas station out here, and you know how gas station people like sometimes they have that jacket. It's like black with like neon or reflective. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Like it's like a reflective.
It's like it looks like 3M. Like it's like that plastic. Yep. Yeah.
So the foam posits like the neon ones. What were they called? The lime. What was it called? Lime.
There was a few lime ones. Like I don't know.
I don't. Damn, I'm trying to think what the fuck the name was for them. But anyway, I seen them in the foams, and when he came up to my window, I was like, "Hey, let me get $30 regular," and he just looked like he had attitude. I was about to stop homie for a second, like, "Dude, you good?" You know what I mean? I'm just asking you for paying for gas. And but I was like, you never know what people are going through. Sometimes people have hard days. When he came back to give me my receipt, I was like, I see you out here with the foam posits on, you killing them. He's like, yo, man, I'm just trying to stay fresh, but they don't know what I'm doing out here. And his whole attitude changed. You know what I mean? Like his whole attitude was like, oh shit, someone recognized me. Right. And that goes back to me saying that this circle of ours, this thing of ours, this footwear, this streetwear that we love so much. But, the game changed a lot because, it could be, obviously it's a young man's game, meaning like where it keeps on turning. You go to these sneaker cons, you see like 10-year-old kids wearing Yeezys and flipping Yeezys with 2,000 in their hand. It's amazing to me. So it's a young game.
Yeah, no, it's funny that the example you gave about your daughter. Last week we had just talked about how like we're bringing in that era of the cool dad because, like you said, we brought in all that Averex, the Nauticas, and all that, and it evolved to Sean John, and it evolved to like other brands, and like where we at currently right now with Supreme, and we got Pata and all kind of stuff like that. And like you said, like I have a son, 18, he's just starting college. And I'm 34, and, my son, I have his friends over, and I'll come walking out wearing a pair of Yeezys or something, and they lose their minds. Like, they can't believe it because, their dads are in their, like, late 50s, 60s, and they're not used to seeing, the son and the dad almost kind of dressed alike, very similar. So I get that all the time, like, yo, that's your dad? That's your dad? Your dad got Yeezys? Your dad got J's like that? And I'll be honest with you, like, I try to, we talk about it all the time. It's a young people's era right now. And they think that everything that's out for them now, they started or they created. And it's not true. It all started way, way, way back. Like, they just don't understand where it came from.
Yeah, I think it started when people weren't thinking about something starting. People just had a passion,
Right.
For kicks. I always tell people that there were no lines. There were no release dates when I was grabbing Jordans. When I grabbed a Jordan 1, okay, it wasn't about if you weren't about if it was going to sell out. No, it wasn't going to sell out. You got to worry about if you were able to have the money for them.
Exactly.
And that was the most important thing, and I going back to what you were saying, that's when I asked my parents and they wouldn't get me. I think they were like 90 or 99. I think the Jordan 1s were. When I bought them, it was like 85. I was begging my parents, man. They would not do it for me, man. Like $100 sneakers. So, I was able to come up with, I think, a little bit more than half, and they put in the rest, and I was able to get it. But the crazy thing back then was, when you think about it, when you got those pair of sneakers and people turn around, you know what I mean? Like you got to stay with them for a long time. Like my mother was like, yo, you're going to wear these things until fucking the soles come off.
Oh, yeah.
And now you think about the way my style is now, not these kids. I'm not saying these kids, me, myself. Like I'm the kind of person where I like wearing, multiple different sneakers,
Right.
Sometimes I'll get used to a sneaker. Like that's how I know I got older, where it's like I may have hundreds of sneakers, in storage in my garage, right, and I'm wearing the same sneaker for 5 days in a row.
Yeah, that's what I mean? We talk about that all the time. Like we have hundreds and hundreds of sneakers, but whatever's on the floor, like George probably throwing a Boost, throwing a Air Max, whatever you got laying around. Like sometimes it's too much work to go in what you got just to pull something out.
Yeah, and it goes too by comfortability these days too. And it's funny you bring up throwing a Boost.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this for a second.
Well, actually, we'll get to that. We'll get to that because I want to talk to you about that. But I want to talk about SneakerTube TV real quick. So you
Rest
started.
in peace.
Yeah. So is it finite? Like it's done?
Yeah. We had a good run, man.
Okay.
But it. I would say, well,
you started that in 2010.
I started in 2010, yeah, and it was great, man. It definitely brought a lot of people together, man. Somebody got married on that joint. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I swear to God, like we had a chat room in there. You were able to put a profile.
Yeah, it was dope.
What I wanted to do was make. I was never trying to compete with YouTube. That would be stupid. I wanted to make a spot where people could really. We had channels. We had Jordan. We had, Air Force. We had, right, basketball. We had LeBron. We had Kobe. We had, regular videos or whatever it was. We had all these categories that YouTube didn't have. YouTube, like if you put in Black Cat, threes, Black Cats would
right,
really come up instead of Jordans.
Right.
And I wanted to make something, and I spent a lot of time. Got a lot of developers involved. I thought it was a great idea. It resonated for a while, but it's like any project. So it's just too much. Like there's just so much it was too much to keep up with. I mean, we ran it for like 5 years.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like, and it did well. Like I said, somebody got married on that joint. That was fucking amazing. Bro.
I used to always be on there, and I thought. It's funny, like I was, thinking about it, and I was like, man, I remembered it used to be dope on there. It used to have everything that you wanted if you were a sneakerhead. I think
sure.
when I think back to it right now, like you said, trying to compete with YouTube, I think back then it would have probably been looked at as that. But honestly, I was really hoping that you were saying you were working on it and getting it started back up, because I think it was just way ahead of its time. Everything that you wanted it and envisioned it to be back then, it's perfect for it right now. Sneaker community in YouTube is like hand in hand. It's just nothing but sneaker reviews, what you wear on your feet, unboxing, blah 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 blah, a vlog, SneakerCon vlogs. If SneakerTube TV still existed to where if I want to only watch sneaker videos about Jordan, Adidas, SneakerCon, and so forth, I can just go here. Because on YouTube, honestly, I'll look for one video and then I'll just click whatever I see on the side, whatever pops up.
Sure.
Like, I think it's something that is still needed to this day. I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. You know, you're right too, and you know what, you learn from your mistakes, and anybody listening, I'm going to give you my failures, so hopefully they can become your successes. But you know, like when you do something, you got to do something for it too. And what I mean by that is, like, I created a community.
Right.
And I always had envisions of doing that. Just like I did with You Gotta Eat This. Like, You Gotta Eat This is a community. Like, I'm not a competitor of other food blogs. I'm a community.
Right.
You know, and that's what Sneakertube was, a community. Like, that was like one of my slogans, join the community. And you know, but what I should have did was, like, you know, like be like ESPN, like, creates their own content too. Like, I should have created, you know, I had tons of cameras and tons of stuff. I should have done my own show, you know what I mean, and put it on the front page, you know, a weekly, you know, it could have been like a daily ESPN, you know, I'm using an example like ESPN, but I could have like a sneaker report, you know what I mean, could have been like, you know, a video thing like what, you know, Clark and Russ did years later, you know what I mean, like with what was that called, Quick Strike?
Quick Strike.
Complex, yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, you do your things on your own, like, you know what I mean, it's like if you own something, you know, you do something with it more than just try to, like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
like more than just owning it. Like, I'm the owner and I'm creating a great community. I felt you could create the content also, not just house the content. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like I should have did that. I was so focused on trying to make the best features for people wanting to get involved. Yeah, man. But it was good. I'll tell you one thing, man. We did a lot of things that people may not even know of. The real reason I created that for is because not only because of what I just told you with the Black Hat 3 story,
right,
but also because there was so many people on YouTube that felt discouraged that because they weren't as big as, I don't know, the people at that time could have been like Sneak Geeks or Franelations or,
right.
You know.
It is kind of amazing how most of them cats have like disappeared. I know Sneak Geeks came back doing some videos, but like all these vloggers and whatnot have taken over that space. And, you know, to me, the content is not, they're trying to make a comedy show out of sneakers or whatever. And it's not, to me, the majority of, we talk about it all the time, and I'm sure you haven't heard any of the episodes, but it's corny to me. I mean, the majority of the stuff that because their audiences are all kids, and I'm not trying to say kids should be excluded, but, you know, going from what some of those guys back then did to what the popular stuff is now, it's all sideshows and who can do the goofiest thing and dump yourself in a basket or in a tub full of Kool-Aid, and it's like not even sneaker related anymore.
Pour milk and Yeezys with cereal.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what? I will say this: YouTube has emerged. You know, not only musicians and artists, but also personalities and people. And you know, I'll never forget. You know, when Sneak Geeks was doing his videos, you know, he wasn't a person that got out there a lot. You know, he did his videos, but he really wasn't like moving around like that. I'm cool with, you know, SneakerCon, Yu Ming, you know, the guys over there. I'm friends with them from, you know, since they started in day one. I would travel with them. One time I brought Sneak Geeks to DC. It was the first SneakerCon he ever went to. Bro, this is 2010, 11, maybe 2010, I'm sure, I think. Maybe 11, I'm not sure. But I'm sure right around there.
Right.
Yo, this guy was signing fucking people's shirts, taking pictures. You know, people never understood that. You know what I mean? Like I'll never forget. I remember being in, like, you know, I wasn't a big YouTube guy, you know, as far as like I didn't do my own videos like that a lot. But as a creator and a person in the community, for sure, like, you know, people, I remember people just saying, like, who are they? Like, why? Like people never understood why. And that's still to this day. You know, like you look at like this kid, all these other kids, you know, these YouTube people, they go out to like an event or something like that. Bro, people look at them like they're a fucking star.
Oh, yeah.
We,
lines around the block. Yeah.
We've been to like a SneakerCon and things like that. And, It's amazing. You tried not to, like I said, we're considered like the angry sneakerheads, I guess, even though we're not, but we just voice our opinions on how we feel. And we understand that it's a young man's game. But when we use the word content, a lot of people use that very loosely. I remember, and this is way back when, and I hate using them as an example because everybody does, but a lot of people try to say, what does the Kardashians do? They have no talent. They have no nothing. And then when we look at these sneaker YouTubers, it's hard to find the talent behind what they're trying to do. Their content isn't, to me, worthy to have the following they do. We've seen individuals, you talk about signing shirts. I'm talking about YouTubers signing Jordans. To me, that's blasphemous. All right.
Yeah. I remember in 2010 I signed Jordans. And I was amazed. Even with the Combat Jack show, not to cut you off and don't lose your place.
Yeah.
But even I grew up. I have a couple of friends. Still, I would say about 3 that are friends of mine since I was fucking 10 or 5. And they're not really sneaker guys. They're not podcast guys. They're not,
right.
They're not even a lot of things that I am. But they're great people. I may go, one time I may have been in the mall with them and somebody was like, oh shit, Premium Pete, let me take a picture. They're like, get the fuck, who the fuck wants to take a picture with you? They don't understand.
Right.
They're like, this, they don't understand it, what did you say? There's a point I was trying to make.
No, I was just saying that, there was, I think of this world of YouTubers and shootubers or whatever. I wasn't fully immersed into it until we start the podcast. I wasn't aware of it until then. And then, like I said, I seen people, they came and visited Arizona, and I seen people waiting outside in 110-degree weather to have somebody who's on YouTube sign their Jordans. Now, to me, I could never sign the sneaker of somebody who mastered and perfected their profession. I feel like me signing that Jordan has just now throw that Jordan in the trash. Even though somebody asked me, we're talking about somebody who mastered their job, and I just get on video or a podcast and I just talk, for a little while and provide a little bit of content, and you want me to basically vandalize the greatest athlete sneaker of all time. It's shocking to us at times, and it might be something that we just haven't been able to adjust to.
I understand what you're saying, but I want to give you an example.
Okay.
Growing up, who was a TV show that you liked?
Oh, geez. I mean, how far back? Martin, Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
I can go back further.
So these kids don't watch TV these days.
Oh, exactly.
So that YouTube channel is their Martin. And when Martin is in town, they want to meet him.
Okay.
We didn't get a chance to meet Martin because it wasn't like that.
Right.
But keep in mind, what they're glued to, they actually are able to touch it and pause to that. But meaning they're able to really smell and feel the things that they passionately believe in. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's I understand what you're saying. But I want you to understand that these people are believing in something that someone else is doing. You know what I mean? And I know it may sound crazy, and I know you how the fuck you signing someone's Jordan, but listen, think about what they have to do in order to obtain that type of fan. You know what I mean? Meaning follow them and believe in them. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's different day and age, bro, of how people show love. But I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I feel like YouTube gets that bad rap of who the fuck is this? Why are they signing this? Why is this person famous?
Right.
But I'll be honest with you. If we're living in a world where other people are showing other people love, which I think is rare these days, I think we're on good steps.
Well, I mean, the issue for me, and we've talked about it many times, isn't so much that the kids want that because Greg and I differ a little bit on this. It's not so much that the kid wants the autograph. I understand that. We see like grown men, like 40-year-old men, waiting in line to get an autograph from a shoe tuber who's like 22 years old. You know what I mean? Like that'll never resonate with me. I grew up in LA. I've never been starstruck even by like actual celebrities. So I guess that's like way back in the day. I want to say this was like early 90s. Magic Johnson used to put on a when I went, it was at the LA Forum. It was way before the Staples Center. He used to put on an event every summer called like Midsummer Night's Magic or Classic or something like that, and he would have all the NBA players come and play in it. And it's basically like a fundraiser for, I think it was for the United Negro College Fund or something like that back then. I was like 5 feet away from Jordan, Shaq, Gary Payton, like all these players. And yeah, it's definitely cool to see Michael Jordan 5 feet away and Shaq 5 feet away because that was when Shaq was young. But to me, it just doesn't resonate that, you know, grown men want autographs of like a 23-year-old YouTube person who's just films himself walking around and showing his day off. You know what I mean? And then pours the milk in the shoe and jumps in a bathtub full of Kool-Aid and all that. You know what I mean? Like to
and
me,
says, what's up, guys? It's your boy. It's Doc Tom.
It doesn't resonate with me, man. I don't know. I never had that feeling, I guess, as a kid. The love for me is the shoe itself, not the person displaying the shoe or talking about the shoe. I don't know.
Well, okay, then let's jump to that then. And like you said, you know, what you just told us right now, I think, I mean, because I've been working on that personally, trying not to be so on the younger people, because I think we've already voiced our opinions enough. And I think at some point, and like I said, I follow your IG all the time, and a lot of stuff you say on Twitter is like very positive. I try not to get on people too much to where it starts to sound like hate. It's never malice. It's never hate, you know, and I never want that.
It is from me. I'm a hater. I'm just to be honest.
So another thing real quick. I know, like I said, we're always considered the old, you know, sneaker lovers, sneaker heads. And now this might be very difficult for you to do as a New Yorker. But we do have a lot of younger listeners, and I want you to kind of describe to yourself, kind of like how to our listeners, how you talked about the Asian kid that had the Jordan 3s on, how impactful Jordans used to be in the sneaker community.
Jordans were everything, man. You know, I, to this day, as an older sneaker lover, remember Jordans by moments I had in my life. The Jordan 4s were the first time I ever kissed a girl. The Jordan 5s are when I went to a prom and tried to get the little finger bang on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Jordan 6s were the first time I ever had a cell phone, you know?
Right.
You know, the Jordan 7s is the first time I had my own money, you know? You know, I remember different times of things, you know? The Jordan 8 was the first time I ever got arrested, you know?
Right.
You know, sneakers, you know, particularly Jordans, weren't just sneakers. They were moments in my life. And, you know, you look at it to this day, you know, I always bring this up too. It's like, you know, Michael Jordan broke barriers of how big Jordans were. You know, everybody wanted to be like Mike. You know, the thing that kind of fucked up Jordans a lot though was early on there was people who, well, not early on, but a little later on, there was people who were like, yo, we ain't wearing these and balling. You know, like, we're going to be stylish, you know?
Oh, you
and
know
I feel like that's what led them to use lesser materials, in my opinion. That came later on. But, you know, back to just how important Jordans were, man. I mean, you know, this guy was amazing, man. This guy was confident. This guy was a winner. And I think that you felt to yourself that you were a winner and you wanted to be like Mike. And those commercials were everything. And just, you know, I remember being a Brooklyn, New York City kid, man. Just, you know, you have a pair of Jordans on, you were about it. And that wasn't just because if you had them on, because you would have to keep them on.
Right.
And nobody to jux them from you and take your sneakers, because that happens a lot at that, you know, back in the day.
Back in the day,
so,
100% fact. Like, I remember in LA, lived in Inglewood, and I was young. And I remember having to go by MacArthur Park, and I knew, and I'm talking Crip blood era. Like, I knew it was always going to be a possibility that somebody was going to take my shoes for their cousin, brother, nephew, anybody. And I remember I used to take my old pair of shoes and I'd take my new pair off, put them in my backpack, and put my old pair on. And I would just hope that they didn't take my backpack. Like, I would hope that my new sneakers in my backpack, that they'd be like, he got on beat up sneakers, and we're not gonna take his school backpack. But like, I used to watch it happen to other kids. Like, I remember when Crips and Bloods would like come on our school campus to try to tell us how cool it was to kick it with them, and how they had all the J's and, you know, all this type of stuff. Like, a lot of people don't know that type of stuff took place back in the day. You know, like you said, I never thought about that turning point when people decided, nah, you don't hoop in Jordans anymore. That might be a very good thing to think about. Like, I remember hooping in Jordans all the way through 14s. Like, I always did. And, you know, I always had like another pair. Like, I might have like the white pair and the black pair, but I hooped in the white pair and kept the black pair to rock. But nobody hoops in Jordans. I mean, obviously technology is better now, but that right there might be a real key turning point in what changed Jordan brand.
Yeah, because people fucking, like I said, you know, I feel like we gave them so much information to be like, yo, what the fuck are we using all these basketball quality products and materials in the sneaker when they're not wearing it to play basketball? It's a fashion statement. And, you know, that's when I felt like, you know, you started to get less and less quality in Jordans, you know? But you're right.
I guess, you know, that was a good...
I never hooped in Jordans. I mean, Team 1s, at one of my favorite basketball shoes of all time, I think I didn't want to ruin them. Even when I was a kid, and like I said, I'm trending towards being old here. Even when I was a kid, I didn't take... Because mainly kids are playing outside. You know what I mean? You didn't get to the indoor court till if you were on the middle school team or you were on the high school team. So you're playing outdoors. I didn't wear any of my nice sneakers outside playing basketball. I wore some Flights or Forces or something like that.
And see, I played basketball all the way starting at like 4th grade. We played for like local Catholic churches, and we always started in the gym. So like, no matter how good you were, if you had on them J's, cats would see you. But yeah, that's a good point, man. I never thought about that, because if you're a Nike or a Jordan brand, why am I going to put this premium leather on it for cats who just hanging out, chilling on the corner? Like, that leather and that strength of the sneaker was for playing basketball.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it, the Bins, you know, it's a nice quality product.
Right.
So what does that mean? The one you got is just, you know? So, you know, you want to pay more and we'll give you what you're supposed to get.
All right.
You know, it's tough now. You know, I was telling someone the other day, too, you know, we live in a day and age with Jordans, in particular customs, where I don't give a fuck if you've been around forever. You can't tell what a fake is anymore. You may not even know what is what anymore, because there's so many colorways that have come out.
Right.
You know, back in the day, there was never no outside the box colorways, so you could tell. Never. So if you seen somebody pull up in like a fucking, you know, all blue, you know,
right.
9, you're like, what the fuck? That was a fake.
Yeah,
you know?
We talked about that before. We talked about when we were younger, Jordans came out in your black and your white, and they might throw in something every once in a while, but you mainly had no more than 2 or 3 colorways to a Jordan. You see somebody come up walking with a white and blue 9, you're like, yo, bruh, them is fake. Now, I don't know what's what anymore.
Yeah.
Production is better in the fake shoe world as well. So.
Yeah, well, you think about it. First of all, you know, from someone like myself being in the sneaker, you know, culture for so long, I've had mothers, you know, aunts hit me and be like, hey, I need to, and this is something that always boggled my fucking mind, which now has changed, and I'll explain. I would have people call me years ago and be like, look, I need you to tell me if these sneakers are real. I think they are. I got a good deal on them. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So they would show me, right? And I would see, just say like a Jordan 4, you know, with Nike Air in the back.
Right.
And I'm like, and my first, just from being an experienced, person in footwear, I'm like, how much did you pay for them? And they would say, oh, $50. I'm like, they're fucking fake. You know what I mean? And why do you think they're $50? Oh, no, because, nobody knows about this place. Shut the fuck up. Okay? I never understood why people didn't fucking realize that was a blatant understanding of fake. Now, fake places are charging the exact high amount. So it's hard to tell these days. And to be honest with you, the product is just as good as a fucking regular.
I've seen some that might be better than the regular.
It's crazy, man. You ever see some of those fake Yeezys and how close it is?
I couldn't tell. I wouldn't be able to tell a fake Yeezy from some.
Let me just give you an example. It used to be the price. It's not the price no more.
Nope.
It used to be the glue, but Jordan Brand has glue still on fucking sneakers. Adidas still has glue. It used to be so easy, like there's glue around here. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's so many sneakers now, Nike, even Adidas, sometimes you could tell there was a kind of a rush job. You ever get a pair of sneakers, you're like, damn, this shit, look at this. It looks like it's threading a little.
The paint's awful too.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they do now, the fakes or replicas or whatever, they do different versions now. They'll make a rushed one, then they'll do another one, then they'll do another one, and then they'll have one that's like the final identical pair, and they're charging the retail price. Like you said, you used to be able to get a fake Jordan for like $75 because the retail version, the retail was $150. Oh, no, the replica fakes now are $220, just like everything else. The only fake sneaker that I'll say that they never ever seem to ever get right was Foamposites. Foamposites just never ever got right.
Yeah, I seen them. They definitely look super fugazi.
Always.
You know what I mean? Super. I mean, they look like fucking like a pile of fucking mud. I seen them. They tried. I seen them in Chinatown a couple. They tried.
So Adidas. Let's talk about Adidas.
Wait, hold on a second.
Okay.
So what was the first passion? Was it hip hop or was it sneakers? I feel like people need to know this.
I mean, just so people understand, hip hop is what hip hop is a way of life, and there's so many elements of hip hop: food, fashion,
right,
music, lifestyle. It was definitely music, man. It was definitely music, though. And that's one thing I like to see in these young kids. My daughter's 17. Everything about her life is music. Like even her mood. Like I remember, when they're in a bad mood, you could tell that they listen to certain music. Or if they're in, like I used to be like that too. Music. I would listen to music that went with my mood. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if I threw on some DMX, I was doing 110 on the highway. You know what I mean? Like,
DMX could get you doing stuff like that. I mean,
but music.
X gonna give it to you. Pause.
Yeah, shit. You got that right. Stop, drop. Shut them down.
Yeah.
Open up shop. When that fucking beat dropped, man, I was crazy. But if you think about it, man, music is amazing. Music is the older brother or older sister that we don't have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Music is the partner that we always been looking for. That that does what we need, and doesn't bother us, and it comforts us. You know what I mean? Like music is amazing when you really think about it. Like, I think that people take music for granted. You think about what music has been able to do for us. You know what I mean? As people, as headphones, as CDs, as cassette tapes, as Walkmans, as vinyl, as iPods, as you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You think music is music. Songs may have got played, but music has never got played out. You know what I mean?
It hasn't. And like you said, I think people do take music for granted now. It's you come out with a song Monday, people want a brand new one by Thursday. They want the artist to have a new one by Thursday. And it is, and that feeling that music does give you, I mean, it's amazing. I remember, laying in the bed late at night, falling asleep with my CD player on or Walkman on, listening, to Bone Thugs and Harmony, or listening to like West Coast, or listening to like DMX or Jay-Z, something. I remember taking the time to memorize lyrics, so I could show off in front of everybody. When that song came on, I knew the words, Nowadays, it gets pushed out so quick you know, you don't even got time to learn the words, you know.
You're right, and I think that though they have genius, which is pretty amazing how they
Right.
how they annotate lyrics, and you're able to find out what they mean and what they are.
Right.
But you're right, man. I remember stopping, rewinding, and then playing again, stopping, rewinding, just to try to remember the lyrics. Like it's like it was that powerful. I'll never forget. Like KRS-One had this song called "Love's Gonna Get You," and I mean, there's so many things that stuck with me, but like I remember wanting to remember every lyric. My boy named Rob is chilling in a Benz in front of my building with the rest of his friends. I give him a pound. Well, I shake his hand. He's a neighborhood drug dealer, my man. I go upstairs and punch my brother, kiss my mother. And I sit down on I think he says, like, I sit down on my couch to watch some TV, and then you hear, do my ears deceive me? Nope. That's the third time this week. Another fast brother shot dead in the street. I guess you think about I was addicted to the style of what they were saying. He was saying something like, I got beans, rice, and bread on my shelf. Every day I see my mother struggling. Now it's time I got to do something. I look for work. I get dissed like a jerk. I do odd jobs. I come home like a slob. So here comes Rob. His gold is chivalry. He gives me $200 for a quick delivery. I did it once. I did it twice. Now there's steak with the beans and rice. You know what I mean? You think about how fucking, that's what it was all, just being fresh, man. Just being able to get it together. He even said with 1.5 pair of pants, you ain't cool. That's what KRS said back in the day.
Right. Yeah, that's funny because being from the West Coast, I wasn't fully into West Coast music. I was so into Wu-Tang, and Liquid Swords was just one of my things. And there was a lot of stuff in Liquid Swords and Wu-Tang and KRS-One and everybody like that West Coast wasn't privy to. So whenever I would try to get my friends to listen to Wu-Tang and stuff like that, they just always, Nas, all that, they always said it was too complicated and stuff like that. And I remember Duel of the Iron Mike. I remember the liquid soluble that made up the chemistry, the gaseous element that burned down your ministry. Stuff like that was whoa. It was the herbal vapors and biblical paper, smoking Exodus, and every square yard you push. They can't breathe, blood splash, rushing fast, like running rivers. I be that whiskey in your liver, bombing in barracks. It was complex rhyming that a lot of people wasn't used to, but it was ours. Everybody couldn't afford sneakers, but you can go outside, or you could get in your homie's ride. You could go to your friend's house, and you could put on the radio. You always had music. And it's just one of those feel good things, man.
I'll tell you one thing, man. You never know what someone else is going through, but music did. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So Adidas.
Yeah, man. Finally, we've been trying to get here. We've been trying to get here, man. We've been trying to get here.
I always see you post sneakers and things like that, and whenever. There's one thing I can say about a premiumpete, IG page when it comes to sneakers. It's never the same. It's it's respectable of everything. You might catch a New Balance, you might catch a Nike, some trainers, anything like that. And you've been on the Boost wave for quite some time now. It might be a little hard to actually find a picture of premiumpete wearing Boost. I always see you in J's, Bread Ones, some threes, or things like that. How do you feel about Adidas and Boost, and is it possibly just a quick flash in the pan?
No, I think it's straight up, man. Adidas changed the game. Or should I say Adidas breathed life back in the game.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a good way.
I was in Nature's Grill. It's some healthy fucking place with my daughter. We went there, and you eat food that doesn't even taste good, and you say, "Hey, we had lunch."
Right.
I looked down, and these two kids came in, and they had a fucking. They looked from the top up. They looked like they had a dope outfit. I looked down, NMDs. I looked down, pair of Yeezys. I looked down, pair of Boosts. I'm like, oh shit.
Right.
Let me tell you something, man. I never in my life thought that 3 kids in Brooklyn in a spot that looked dipped before I looked at their feet would all have Adidas on. More so, they look dope. More so, they don't resemble everything else in this world. Think about how hard it is to create a new silhouette. Right. Nike could come out tomorrow with a new silhouette, like, oh shit, that looks like the old, New Balance, or that looks like a part of a Jordan 5, or that looks like everything resembles something.
Right.
So for them to make something that is kind of like somewhat of a new silhouette where people could take in and adapt to, but more importantly, be comfortable. Look, I grew up in a world where I just wanted to be fresh. There's been times where I remember they only had a 9.5 in a Jordan 4. And I told my mother I need it. She's like, Pete, you wear a size 8. I'm like, nah, I got this.
Going down in size is even worse.
Yeah, man.
But
you die that way.
But that was the whole like when your parents couldn't afford it, you were gonna live with this. Like, well, see, I might wear a 9, or we're gonna buy a 10 because you're gonna grow into it.
We were talking earlier about there not being lines and not release dates and that kind of stuff, but you still had to worry that if you waited too long, your size would be gone, because there was no resale market back then, or if there was, it wasn't a national resale market. It was like maybe your friend wanted to get rid of his pair, or maybe you got lucky. But if you waited too long, your size was probably gone. So
but
you had to go down.
No, you're right. I agree. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is we sacrifice to be fresh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Think about that. You sacrifice your fucking feet to be fresh.
There was
absolutely.
But what I'm saying is now Adidas comes along and it's like, yo, we're going to change the game in the sense of where we're going to make some fly shit where it looks dope, but you're going to be comfortable. When has comfortable been in style? Why did we push that away for all these years? The other day I went to this juicing event thrown by Styles P, the homie Styles P. And Styles was like, yo, we as a culture have to look at health as cool. Why don't we preach that to each other? Why do we sit there and, like here I am saying about the food. I'm like,
right.
Oh, with some tasteless food. But being healthy is cool. Like, why not? Why are we just, why are we not preaching being fit or taking care of yourself is dope? Why are we against that? Like, looking at it like it's corny. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's,
like we're not embracing it. So I know it's a little bit different from what I'm saying, but keep in mind, comfortability is everything. Imagine being able to look fly and be comfortable. Yo, that's why Adidas changed the game, man. Yo, that boost is, listen, I've been with every type of thing you could think of. I used to run, I used to jog a lot. I used to jog in Air Max 95. I was a big Air Max 95 guy for a while. Air Max 97, Air Max 1.
Right.
Okay? I love jogging in those. I jogged in Air Forces. No problem.
Well, you jogging or running away from somebody?
Well, yeah, both. But you think about it, even like, you look at it like Boost too. Like, I wouldn't say Boost is the best running sneaker because I feel like it makes your calves hard sometimes. I still think Flyknits are dope. And I think they're a great running sneaker too. But think about it. Remember back in the day, Shocks, which I didn't think were ever comfortable.
Never.
But then you got you got to this day you got Vapor Max. But what I'm saying is comfortability is key, man. Basketball sneakers are dying.
Oh, they are
dying, man. Athletic sneakers are where it's at because people want to look. Bro, let me tell you something, man. Adidas has made product for people who are living in the world of what we are today. They evolved.
Right. It's funny, like you talked about, like the being healthy and things like that, and how being cool is healthy. I was on, I was like Instagram. I was on something, and it was a picture like some guy. I don't know what it was, and I seen this girl comment, and I remember like the era that we grew up in. It was about being fly. We weren't trying to be comfortable. I didn't buy Jordans for comfortability. Like there was no. I say this to this day. Air has never been comfortable to me. Like I've never. I can't think back in the day where like, ooh, these are comfortable. It's never been comfortable. It was just what it was. and we talk about how like
you said Vapor Max is comfortable though.
Vapor Max is very comfortable. I'm talking about back in the day. I'm talking about back in the day. Back in the day, there was no such thing of like, man, like somebody the other day said.
Well,
Pippin,
yeah, because we were 20 and we didn't care if our feet hurt or not.
Not even 20. I'm talking about when we were like in high
same
school.
thing, even different.
You're
even
right.
More.
But
I'm just saying.
But that's the point I brought up
now.
before. Just before. When I brought up,
absolutely.
I was like, we sacrificed our feet.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And now, and like you said, you said Styles that talked about how we need to make healthy cool. I remember being fresh and just having what you had. You might have a car, you might have a nice little whip, you might have a little money, you might have something. And girls used to like that. You know, you'd be a little clean, you smell good. I seen this girl comment on a picture and she was like, man, his skin is nice. And I said, man, like, just the times have changed on how things are viewed. Like, we go to buy sneakers now. Like, I heard somebody say the new up-tempos that came out, like a new colorway of the up-tempo Pippins. And somebody said, yo, these joints are comfortable. You're a liar. You're an absolute liar if you're going to tell me that Pippin up-tempos are comfortable. You're lying, okay? You just got something.
Have that person walk a mile.
Yeah.
You know
now,
what I mean?
And that's the thing. You said about Ultra Boost. I would run an Ultra Boost every single day. And after a while, my lower back started hurting. I couldn't run in them. I went back to fly knits. Now, I don't know how on earth, you know, running how we used to run in Air Max 95s and stuff like that. They were never comfortable. They were just dope. They were never, ever comfortable. And we get into it all the time about Boost up here all the time. George is like the Boost infinity up here. You know, his Twitter, his IG is the Boost snob. You know, he has it all. And I have my share of pairs, and our other co-host Ryan has his share of pairs all the time. But, you know, the Vapor Max is one of those ones that I think Nike might have something in the bag that can compete with Boost a little bit. Because to me, Boost is like that temporary comfort. You put it on and you're comfortable for a while. But that all-day wear, I can't wear them all day.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I mean, I just think that if we prepare for things we do in life, you know, like picture if you go to Disneyland, man, you walk around there, you better get yourself a comfortable pair of sneakers.
Right on.
You know, you go to trade shows, you go like Agenda or Caps or Liberty, right?
Right.
Let's walk around. It's a lot of work, you know, mingling with people, talking with people, you know, whatever you're striking deals or whatever you're doing. You better have yourself a fucking comfortable pair of sneakers. You know, to each is their own, but right. I am amazed that Adidas has been able to resurge. I feel like they really changed part of the game. I do.
I always say I think Adidas with their Boost has found their air. They found.
Bro, what did they have?
They used to have
Smith, Superstars, EQTs,
right?
Rod Laver.
They had they had technology. They had Kobe Bryant's for a while. Like they've gone through technology that didn't sit well. Like it didn't submit itself. They had feet you wear technology. They had Adidas Preen. They had a few ways to try to make their shoes comfortable. What they finally did was they got Boost, and then they said, all right, we have the technology. Now let's work from the bottom up. Let's make the sneaker attractive and go with today's clothing. You know, we used to throw on some baggy jeans, some Karl Kani jeans, and throw on some Air Force Ones or throw on some Pippins, and it was fine. You're not throwing on skinny jeans and wearing Pippins now, or slim jeans and throwing on a pair of up-tempos now. You look crazy. You look like a giant capital L. You can't wear, like, up-tempos now have become Timbs. Like, I put on a pair of up-tempos, them joints are like Timberland boots now. Like, you know, you just can't rock them joints anymore. But why don't you own Yeezys? Or why don't you, actually, I don't know if you don't own them, but how come you don't, I don't see Yeezys on your page.
Because I'm a fucky berg. That's why, you know, I just never got into them. And, you know, starting before I said I always want to drop something for somebody. This sneaker, let me explain something to you. Whoever the fuck is listening, okay? when they listen, okay? Don't ever not treat this sneaker culture like a fucking business, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. Because this is a fucking multi-billion-dollar a year business, footwear. And most of the people who have big hearts and big passion for this fucking culture ain't getting no money off of it. And that's sad because they too should be cashing in a check. They too should be able to benefit off of it. And you know, back in the day when those first Yeezys came out, I have relationships all over. I had people in stores like, yo, Pete, you want us to hold you a pair? Get the fuck! I don't wear those fucking Yeezys. Meanwhile, those shit's going for fucking like $4,500 right now in fucking FICA. I could have paid fucking 2 months mortgage with that fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a business, man. I'll give you an example. I told my lady, I was like, yo, I wish we could go to Bahamas this year. She's like, babe, we just came back from vacation last month. We're not going on to one the next year. We can't afford it. Yo, I go in the garage. It's like 4 Dornbacher number 4s. 3 fucking Dornbacher 9s. Fucking 5 Dornbacher 6s. Man, I took fucking 3 of those, 2 of those, went to Fight Club. They sold the next day. Fucking boom. I said, we're going away. They're like fucking 10 grand. You know what I mean? It's like, what am I doing? I'm over here sitting here saying I can't afford to go somewhere, and I'm sitting on things I don't need, or things that I do need for a future time. This is a business. Of course you want to love it. Of course it's a passion. Of course it's a hobby. Of course you're a collector. That's what we do. We love sneakers. We love staying fresh. We love owning our grails.
Right.
But it comes a point in time where it's like, yo, fucking, why do I have 7 Jordan 1s? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, when I'm a infrared 6s are just my grail of grails. And when they re-released, even though they weren't exactly what I wanted, I still bought 6 pairs of them. And I'm just like, what was I thinking? Because I don't even wear one. Like, I don't even rock the one, you know? So it's kind of like, you know, what are you doing? I don't know, how good are you on time? We don't want to, like, you good?
Yeah, no, I guess there was some time, yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you too, also, you know, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but, you know, sports, sneakers, hip hop, they've always just gone hand in hand. And, you know, there's been many discussions and arguments on like tons of stuff. You know, we got like sports with like super teams and, you know, hip hop being mumble rap or whatever they want to call it right now. And like you talked about, when we bought sneakers, we wanted to be Jordan. We wanted to be Pippen. And it just seems like the sneaker community has gone to celebrity versus athlete. Is that forever now? Like,
I mean, I think that, you know, it's gone to celebrity, but I think that it's gone to show you that footwear is more than just athletes. You know, I think that we always, like, I'll never forget, you know, Kanye made a lot of sense. You know, he may be crazy, but you got to be crazy to be creative.
Right.
You know, when he said something like, you know, I'm a performer. You know what I mean? Like I'm performing in these Yeezys. You know, I'm just because I'm not coming out of a tunnel and, you know, I'm hitting a game winner, you know, from 3-point or catching a 50-yard touchdown or hitting a home run, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or knocking out a TKO, you know, doesn't mean I'm not a performer. You know, I think that it has gone celebrity, but, you know, it's you know, I still think there's a mixture of it, man. Sneakers are, let me tell you something, man. Sneakers are one of the biggest conversation starters you could ever, you know, experience in your life. The common bond of you know, leather and rubber is amazing of what doors it could open. Man, I just want to give you guys an example, man. Through sneakers, I met fucking Dallas Penn. Dallas Penn brings me on the Combat Jack show. I go on the Combat Jack show, create fucking history with them. Fucking 6.5, almost 7 years.
That's how that started?
Start my own show. I'm here today. You understand, from the podcasting sense. Me and Bum B met through sneakers over, like, you know, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, right? Me and him are business partners. That's my brother, you know. Right. I can give you so many examples of people I met through sneakers that I'm still friends with to today, you know. Like you know, sneakers. You know, it's, you know, sneakers are just an amazing dot connector, you know. It really is, man. It's an amazing dot connector. You know why? Because you got something in common. You know, we can sit here and talk about, you know, when this sneaker came out, when this came out, when I had this collection, when I got rid of this amount of pairs. something to relate to, man. Something that we both love. You know, this thing of ours, this culture. You know what I mean? And it may be changing, and it may be a young man's game, and it may not be as respected as much as we are growing up. But one thing for sure, it's something that people are still addicted to these days, regardless if you're an athlete or a celebrity. I've seen so many athletes asking for things that they don't know how to get. I've seen so many, celebrities like bro, it's worldwide, man. It's worldwide, man. I mean, I've gotten sneakers over the years for so many fucking people, bro.
We've had that conversation. I was gonna say we've had that conversation on here a couple times about, why we see athletes going on sneaker shopping or whatever it may be and buying all the stuff that you would assume, or the general public would assume that they have access to, and it always baffles me that these guys don't have better agents or better connections than they do. I mean, it surprises me that some of these kids got to pay for this stuff.
Not to cut you off, I don't even want to start fucking dropping names. I won't do that. But
well, this is the sneak diss.
Radio people, morning show people, years ago, people in radio that were like, that had no connects like that. And I was like, wait, you don't know the guy at Adidas? Wait, you don't know? This is before Wax. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like just knowing people. You don't know this one, or you don't get that, or you're not friends with this one. Like where I'm like, yo, I'll make a phone call, and I'm like, yo, blah blah blah, and like, yeah, I'm like, yo, you get him some sneakers, man. You know what I mean? Like, meaning like, I'm like, how is this possible? How are you on the radio? How we like, bro? You'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised, man, that how many people don't have connects, that don't know other people and are in a spotlight.
Right.
Yeah, no, I always see, when we see that, I see like George had brought up, I'll see somebody like an athlete and I'm like, why is he in Flight Club buying a Maroon 6? He doesn't have access to that back in the day, it's funny, and a lot of people don't realize, it's not easy building those connections, and getting out there. Well, it's
because people always ask for, bro, you want to fucking build connections with stores, small businesses.
Right.
Buy more than just the fucking limited shit. Support them throughout the fucking year.
Right.
Help them keep the lights on as you keep shit on your feet. So then that when the fucking Yeezy comes along or a certain holiday Jordan, then you lock yourself in. See, the thing is this: people want connects. People don't want to build connects. Okay.
Right.
People want to be the plug, but don't ever know how to, how to even be their own plug. You got to think about that shit, bro. Like, hold on one second. Think about like, it's just crazy, man. People like, you think about this day and age, right? It's like people will hit somebody only up. Like I used to have people hit me up, like every holiday. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? I need you to hook me up with those fucking cool gray 11s.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, man. Like, you're hitting me 3 days before, and like, my bad. I just wanted to give you some business. Like, you want to give me business? Those fucking things will sell to a blind person. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I mean, on that topic of celebrity, we've also talked about up here many times about how, there's many celebrity sneakerheads out there. And not to isolate, Fat Joe or anything like that, but we always use him as an example because of like when SneakerCon New York, I believe he was like opening up his shop, or he has a shop that he opened up. What do you, is considering that I read that you used to work in sneaker, retail for a while and manage some stores, in your younger days. Yep. How do you feel about that? Where like you see like a sneaker celebrity who does have those connections with people in the industry and they start a store and they immediately in their store is able to provide product that other smaller boutiques haven't built up the clout to sell yet. Like a Fat Joe store is going to have Jordans and limited stuff and Yeezys and stuff right from the bat, from the connections he's built. But that hurts the mom and pop shop. That hurts the small boutique because we have a boutique out here called Manor. Manor is a great shop, and it's dope to see them gradually get more brands and get more sneakers to sell because they have to prove themselves as a shop in order to get more stuff. So how do you feel about that? Like, a celebrity using their clout to open up a bigger brand and almost kind of run the smaller spots out of business.
Well, it's funny because it's like you're right, and it makes sense. You think about it. It's like it makes sense for somebody who has clout. Like I think even like who was this guy in Cleveland that opened up his own store? Like he has a good collection. What's his name? Joe
Hayden.
God, I can't remember this guy's name.
You talking about a football player?
Joe Hayden.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Joe Hayden. Yeah. I think he opened up a sneaker store too in Cleveland. I think I'm almost positive.
Right.
It makes sense. You're a celebrity. You open a store. It gives it a chance to do better. Man, let me tell you something straight off the bat, man. And this goes for anybody, any mom and pop shop. Support your local fucking sneaker stores.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because support your, fucking, support them, man. Stop looking for fucking, people want to support these big corporations. Don't give a fuck about them. If you're trying to get certain sneakers and lock certain things down to add to your collection or add for resale or whatever you want to do, there ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying support your local sneaker shop because I think people open up sneaker shops and think like it's cool. It's like, they could easily become like something. Man, That shit is fucking difficult. Because let me explain something to you. By the time you fucking sell a Nike account, and you may have like one good run, and then you forget about all these other sneakers they're giving you, and before you know it, Foot Locker has those sneakers on sale, and you're trying to fucking sell them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for regular price, and then next thing you know, the next month's bill is already coming, and next month's sneakers.
Right.
That's why so many consignment shops are popping up. We've had a couple of consignment shop owners on the show, and I think the common thread between all of them was it's too expensive to own a retail store. It's much easier to own a consignment store and still be in the sneaker business. You know what I mean? Because you don't have the same overhead. You don't have to worry about bills being paid. You don't have to worry about taking 50 shoes that people don't want just to get one shoe they do want, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So very interesting for people who don't know that kind of stuff.
It almost reminds me. It's like fucking Nike got like this mafia hold on you. It almost reminds me of like like quote unquote influencers. Right. It's like some brands will send you these put you on a list and seed you with sneakers for a while. Some brands will send you garbage and want you to scream that this is amazing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I feel like even that's broken. I spoke about that. I think I had Yu Ming on my show, who was the founder of Sneaker News and Sneaker Con.
Oh, yeah.
One of the big guys in Stadium Goods, in Freshness Mag. I had a big conversation with him where I feel like brands have gotten used to using people, believe it or not, just to get some sneakers, where instead of giving them an opportunity to make money. Right. You know what I mean? Instead of, like I always said, like, I've been one of those people years ago. I was flown down all over. Flown down, check out a new Harding, check out a new crazy Adidas crazy that they were doing, hotel, fucking, company car. We go out to dinner, fucking, it was beautiful. But I'll be honest with you, you could have just cut me a $3,000 check. I would create my own content. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like they're not going to do that. You can't cut checks for everybody, and I understand that. But what I mean by that is like it's not easy. These people take their time, and you got to travel, and it's tough, man. It's tough, and I feel like the brands, you don't want to succumb to being used, and I hate to use any other terminology, but it's kind of like, why not work with these people? And I think there are some things going on, but it's like, come on, man. If you're a brand and you're sending sneakers to a celebrity or influencer or somebody that you feel should have these products, at least make sure it's a good piece of product. Like I want to scream at Ultra Boost. You know what I mean? I want to scream about a new NMD. Right. I want to scream about maybe, like don't fucking hand me like an Adidas fucking, Fusion Bousion and fucking tell me to fucking and tell me to scream how good this is to my audience. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, you ask people to sell their soul. For what? For fucking a piece of leather or rubber that doesn't even look that good? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. That
I was actually gonna ask you, what have you picked up lately? Is there anything you've bought recently?
Boost, man, Boost. I got to, I'm fucking with the Uncaged, man. I'm fucking with the Uncaged, man.
I think the Uncager might be the most disrespected.
Yeah,
I think they're more comfortable.
I mean, what happened?
I think they're more comfortable than the regular Ultra Boost.
Yeah, I do feel that sometimes. I got to give it the Pepsi Coke test. You know what I mean? But I do feel that sometimes. Uncaged are beautiful, man. I feel like it was shorts and it just looks good. And I'll be honest with you, one thing and not to be all over the Adidas wave, because I still fuck with my Jordans.
Right.
And I still fuck with Nike. But one thing I like about Adidas, I feel like they are evolving into this new world we're living in. Like the no shoelace type thing, and even like the Uncaged wrapping around your ankle. These type of sort of like moccasin type looking sneakers, this knit just feel of on top of a layer of a Boost. Think about it. It's like evolving into like little swaggy, comfortable type shoes. You know what I mean?
No, most definitely. I actually think that might be it. We have to ask.
I mean, you could talk all night long about sneakers and hip hop. There's no doubt about that.
We definitely don't want to keep holding you up.
Yeah, you're not holding me. I'm having a good time, man. Sometimes it's good. So, let me tell you something. When you've been in the game, or of the culture for so long, sometimes you lose passion. You lose passion because, sometimes you see the game change and it's not treated well. Sometimes it's almost like hip hop. People who get mad and be like, these guys don't have lyrics like, people had years ago. But the game changes. Right. But you never change. Your passion never changes.
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
Greg gets mad at me all the time for saying that Future's trash and whatever other crazy things I've said.
Well, no. I've said, see, I appreciate Future. When I heard Future do an interview and Future said that he's not trying to spit bars, that's when I started to like Future. I always tried to listen for bars. I tried to listen to every single rapper and tried to just break down bars. And I started getting frustrated with people like Future and things like that. Now I love and appreciate a Future because he said he's not trying to spit bars, So I can appreciate it. We could talk about hip hop and music and stuff like that all day as well.
Of course.
Is there any advice you have, just for us? We're a young podcast, and, we have those episodes on those days where sometimes you just don't feel like coming, but you don't want to disappoint. You always want to make sure that you keep your content fresh and post something. Is there any advice you have for us or anything?
Well, first of all, I would say stay consistent,
Right.
Through the highs and lows, stay consistent and never stop believing in what you're doing. If you're not consistent, then people can't be consistent with you. I think that's one of the biggest problems with podcasts is they're not consistent enough. And I would say too, is continue to let your voice flow, and really I think this is something that some people may not even understand. Don't get in the way of yourself. Sometimes people are so controlling of what they think people want, they forget to do what they're supposed to be doing. And you don't want to be a critiquer so much where you don't put out the content that you want. You got an audience, be consistent, know what your audience wants and be, and really just, like I said, just get in touch with the people, try to do something different too. Like, obviously a podcast is a podcast. So a lot of similarities of you drop a podcast, it's audio, a lot of those things are similar to everybody else, but always try to I feel like step outside the box because everyone else is going to always be doing the same thing. So be in the class of always trying to just change it up a little, bring on a different guest, maybe, I don't know, just expand your mind to bring something different every once in a while to your show to keep it enlightened and entertaining. And more importantly, I think that there's a lot of podcasts I feel that are very good, and then there's a lot of podcasts I feel are very bad. You never want to be that podcast that is so self-centered. You want people to listen to this and get something out of it. Because that's the world we live in today. they may support you, but they enjoy what has been given to them, the gems, you know, the lessons they learn, and maybe even the information that they learn, you know. So, you know, I would say to you or any podcast that is out there, you know, again, the biggest thing is stay consistent, stay true to yourself, you know, make sure you fucking got some good sound. Don't be fucking taping no podcast in the bathroom.
Right.
You know what I mean? And expect people to fucking want to listen to you when you're like...
We can hear that
like,
shit immediately when we listen to other shows or watch stuff on YouTube, man. It's blatantly obvious the difference between being in a studio and not being in a studio.
Yeah, no,
and challenge yourself, bro. Challenge yourself. Bring on a different guest. Allow yourself to fucking... to get outside your comfort zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we definitely... I mean, honestly, the advice you just gave us definitely kind of hits home. I think, you know, there's times where we might get in the way with ourselves. Our personalities are so strong on how we might feel about something that we realize we just spent the entire episode being extremely critical.
Oh, I'm a hater. I don't care.
And you know, and that's fine. And I think it's a perfect balance of being critical, but like you said, providing something for a listener to say like, you know what, that was a great point. And I'm going to go and move forward with that. I like how when I listen to your podcast, I like every time you talk about being a father and stuff like that. I'm a father of 3 kids. And a lot of people don't understand, like, being a father. They might understand, like, that it's hard, but being a father is really hard. Like, life, you literally are molding lives that, you know, you created. You know, you can easily be one of those fathers and be like, I'm out of here, you know, and do your best not to care. But when you do care, that adds more anxiety and stress just on a daily basis. And then you have your regular work and then podcast and, you know, your own health. And, you know, you try to be healthy and drink juices and eat all that nasty stuff that, you know, to try to be cool, you know, to stay healthy. But no, yeah. I always get something out of your podcast every time I listen to it, and even just your tweets, you know. And
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think that advice you just gave us, I'm gonna run with that. You know, we're always original. We do a lot of things our sneaker podcast that other podcasts don't do, as regards to sneakers. It's not easy, you know, coming up with sneaker topics and different ways to get listeners involved, and we've done that. So getting that from you is definitely a gem that we're gonna take, and we definitely appreciate it, man.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely appreciate you guys bringing me on. And, you know, it's good to talk about kicks. And I do my last words to, you know, people listening is, listen, if you're a sneaker lover and you're able to make a business out of it for yourself, man, that is what you call turning your dreams into reality. You know, and I think never stop giving up. If you feel that that's something you could do, never stop giving up. You have a day job. You know, don't quit on your day job, because your day job fuels your dream job. And, you know, I think that, you know, you could just really just understand of like how much sneakers mean to people. Like I said, there's a common bond that, you know, you may walk by a stranger, but if you see them in a certain pair of sneakers, you know, you may connect and get a head nod like, okay, I see you. You know what I mean? There's something special about sneakers and this thing of ours and this culture and this community. You know, you know, it may be some fucky bergs, it may be some hype beasts, but for the most part, man, there's a lot of good people in this shit.
Man, that's some good stuff, man. We definitely appreciate you coming on. You know, thank you, and hopefully we can stay in touch. We appreciate you coming on, and that's Premium Pete for the Sneak This podcast. Thank you very much.
Shouts to the Sneak This podcast, but I don't know where Ryan is.
Yeah, we don't know either. You know, Ryan's MIA, but I'm sure he'll appreciate you shouting him out and stuff. So.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, fellas.
All right, appreciate it. Take it easy.
Peace.
It's time to go home.
Time to go home.
I'm tired.
That was a great conversation, though.
Yeah, it was.
That was really good.
What do you expect?
That's Premium Pete. That's classic. That's hip hop culture royalty right there. Once again, follow us. Subscribe, iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, and all that. Visit our website, thesneakthis.com.
Follow us or else.
We appreciate Premium Pete coming through. Follow him. He has a few websites, food blog, things like that. Follow him on IG, Twitter. Visit his website, yougottaeatthis.com. It's a food blog with him and with him and Bun B. Super dope. We appreciate Premium Pete. And anything else?
That's it.
That's a Sneak This. Pow.